It's amazing how an artist views the world and how the world imposes itself on the artist. Right now, as you were talking, I had to mute myself because my son started crying, wanting attention. And the first thing he did, there's a knife that is sitting on top of the microwave. He went for that knife. So I had to stop him from playing with the knife and remind him that it's dangerous. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is going to be a couple of events that I'm going to mention. For me, this conversation, it also speaks to how a lot of artists are currently feeling. I'm sure there's a lot who know that the position that the pandemic has put them in is dangerous. And they look for options. Because my son was looking for an option to occupy himself because mommy is working. And he knows that when mommy says she's working, he must be quiet. But for the longest time since beginning of lockdown, almost for 3 hours or 4 hours a day, mommy tells him that, baby, mommy is working, be quiet. And it's been building up on him. And I'm noticing, even now, if you notice, for instance, from the beginning of this week, any broadcast I've done or any meeting I have done on my, online, my son features prominently. It's like he has gotten to that point where he's like, you've been telling me to shush for so long. Now I have to move. It's unnatural for me to be closed up like you are asking me to. It's unnatural for me to be quiet. So I need to move. Whether I have your permission or not, I need to move. So I've been observing those. So from the knife, then I warned him. Which then would, if one were to think of it as an echo about the life of the artist, it's either you speak up or you die. Or you then get yourself into a position that becomes dangerous for you. I remember there were some guys, it was highlighted in the papers that a certain actor was caught, with illicit cigarettes and illegal cigarettes and stuff like that. And and those are the positions that people are finding themselves in, the pressure. Then the next thing that my son did, right now he's busy sanitizing the laptop. But that's not the second point. The second point, he went to the washing machine and started loading it. And it's linen that he was loading. And I thought, how bizarre that when we're having this conversation, he decides he's gonna go and do the linen. And he started, he started pressing the buttons, wanting the cycle to start. And he was maneuvering it, changing the settings from, your daily wash, because I could see the numbers, from your daily wash to your quick wash, to all these different settings. And with a washing machine, you've got your synthetics, you've got your baby clothes and all of that. And even that, for me, at the back of my head, I was analyzing that we're having this conversation. And that activity is happening there. And we are literally putting out our laundry and washing it in public, even though it's a psychological one, and talking about spaces and development and everything. So he did that. The next one, as he was trying all the different buttons, then I don't know what happened. He decided he's done with that. And then he went to get the sanitizer. And he started sanitizing me, spraying the whole house. Again, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm interpreting that when you talk out, you are sanitizing the virus. When you speak up, you are sanitizing a situation that would otherwise be so volatile and so prohibiting to your growth and your mental wellness. And he's busy doing that. Like now he's on a second bottle. As I'm talking, he's in front of me. He put down the one bottle and now he's got a different one and he's just spraying in the house. And it's all those amazing and interesting interpretations of life. Right now, we are sanitizing ourselves, our emotions, our psychological well-being, our physical spaces. There are people who I know there are some artists I know who are living in their brother-in-law's office, since lockdown because they are homeless, So all those elements are coming and you wonder and you think, how do we move forward, Because at the end of the day, we can talk about these things. I remember when I first came to Cape Town, I was walking in Long Street and there's a block of flat. It's adjacent to that place, that hotel now that is called what? Something on Orange. So if you're coming from the planetarium, there's the something on Orange. And then opposite that, there are blocks of flats and a church. And then there's a block of flats called Skyline where I used to have friends and live and squat, And I remember someone, this one time I was seeing this beautiful, model type. And I kept seeing a couple of them. And then someone said, actually, this is like Model City, this block of flats. A lot of artists are living there, it's like that. And I asked myself, where did those spaces go? With models, of course, they would have those. And one of my dreams, it's to create a space where, at this time, a place where if someone were to find themselves in a space that is not conducive for their growth, for their development or anything, but something like a sanctuary where one can come and just heal, where one can come and just be themselves, and also a place to learn and evolve, because we cannot continue remaining in that space where we say an artist is supposed to look frazzled up and all those things. That is part of my mission, because with the life coaching, part of what I was doing with the tour was going to the schools, because I know that children dreams, kind of incorporate the coaching and the mentorship so that someone can understand that it's no longer about being a glorified dirty artist. You have to understand that you have to evolve. Your craft as well have to evolve. Your thinking has to evolve. I'm being sanitized. Literally, that's a sanitizer. My brain is being sanitized. How bizarre. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm talking about evolving and someone is sanitizing my brain. So it's all those elements where we need to okay, gentle Popo, Mama's working, okay? So it's about that as well, being cognizant of the fact that we need to evolve. But before we can evolve, there are some habits, beliefs, ideas and ideals that we need to unlearn. There's ways that we need to empower ourselves in so that then we can transcend to the next level. Also, it goes to understanding that we have to have a different mindset. A shift needs to happen so that we understand that you don't have to be living in a penthouse to be seen, to be thriving while you're not. Eventually, that is going to catch up with you. But also our communities and society needs to be educated, about our experiences. We need to start telling our stories. And when you tell your story, it's not from a place of saying, feel pity for me, but it's from a place of saying, these have been my experiences, and now I don't want the next person not to know, because the least that I could do, Nini, careful. The least that I could do is to empower them. Come to mama. Come. The least I could do is to empower the next person and ensure that they know that this is what to expect, and don't do this. Or rather, even if you don't use the word don't, because if you use don't, then the universe is going to deliver don't, all those negative. But it's about the mindset. So, which is what I've been doing with the coaching, the combination of the life coaching and the artistic side of things, combining those two and aligning them. Because if there is no congruence, that's why even you find artists, you say this to the department, and the officials know that this is what you're saying, but they don't hear you. Because for them, it's about the mandate. For them, all they are accountable to is the policies that are in front of them. Anything else that you say, for me, this doesn't work, that would work. If you don't know what their mandate is, if you don't know what policies exist or need to be brought into existence and what actions, then you're going to be stuck. You're going to keep on knocking and you become a laughing stock, up until you get to that point where you lose yourself. I'm surprised that in South Africa, no one is in jail for doing something like hectic, because all these eruptions, all these different movements, all these eruptions, all these open letters, they are going somewhere. They are going somewhere. And part of, the forces that we need is society. Because at the end of the day, we live and articulate their thoughts through the craft. And for families, we live the dreams and aspirations that they have, and we allow them to grow wings. But it's so bizarre that when then you realize, because for me, it took me a whole, I think 16 years to realize what kind of an industry I'm in, And by then I had given, I'm on 22 years this year in the industry. I had given so much of myself, but one thing I told myself is that I will not, because you can either be despondent and lose yourself. You don't have an option. I've got my son. I've got a responsibility toward this person, And then there's those artists who, when it hit them, then they said, I will never have children. If this is what the industry is about, I'm just going to continue existing until the Lord decides to remember me, and then I'm gone. But how many times is that going to happen? How long is it going to happen? How many years, decades and centuries has it been okay that an artist is that person that you can negotiate and not in good faith, in bad faith with, and think it's okay, So it's all those conversations. And I've heard people who've been saying, Andrea, why are you not in the forefront of things anymore? I'm like, guys, in order to lead, you don't have to be leading from the front. I've experienced both sides, and we are healers, which my next topic in the next broadcast that I would talk about, it would be about why is it that a lot of artists end up going to Twasa, become sangomas and stuff like that. People always ask. And it's a question no one has ever answered, because those who have Twasa feel they do not have to account to anyone for their choices. But there's something deeper there. There's something deeper there that, as well can perhaps, give light. You said something quite fundamental when you said it's a calling. When it comes to artists, the word calling is used so lightly. It's assumed that, oh, it's their calling. If Andrea does praise poetry and she's amazing, she says everything, it's part of her calling. But when now she actually says, okay, calling on my terms, I accept you, then people all of a sudden question, all of that you were chosen way before. They forget the Bible that says that before you were even conceived, I chose you and I knew you, who you will become. Therefore, that it also then echoes why a lot of artists will say, for as long as the moon is shining, I will continue to live, And those who switch off the light, which is something that's happening a lot. There's those who say, let me close my eyes and never open them again. Again, that is something as well that needs to be looked at. We are in an industry that does not have wellness systems, that does not have any of those things, And I've found with conversations I've had with people are shocked when I tell them, no, we don't have benefits, we don't have this and that and that and that. Then they're like, oh, then the next thing is that for them, they don't want to then acknowledge that there is a problem. They want to say, okay, if then I ask, what can I do? The next thing that's going to happen is that Andrea is going to ask for help. Yes, I am supposed to ask for help.